right now. Welcome to our Tuesday night Grow Family Call. So excited to see all of you. As per usual, if you are in the bathtub, please do not turn on your video. But if you are not and you are just afraid of the camera, you can just click that on button and we can take a little snapshot. That's not a bad thing. We still got people coming in. I am so excited to have this beautiful friend of mine with us tonight, LeeAnn Beckwith. And I know you all are so excited to hear from her. So there's going to be very little of me and a whole lot of her. And so here's the thing. We want you guys to get the most out of this experience and this time with LeeAnn. So I would love it if you would write down any questions you have, ask them. You can throw them in the chat if you want to. All of those things, we've got her cornered, guys. She's not leaving until she's done. Thank you so much for being with us. Okay, everybody turn on your cameras really quick if you can. And I always get told that I'm not giving everybody a heads up enough. I'm going to turn off that chat for a second. There we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. All right. So we are recording already. If you guys don't know, LeeAnn is kind of a big deal. She is, okay, I get to say this now. So this is my part. LeeAnn is definitely one of those leaders that you want to have on your follow list that you are watching. I love this because we were just talking about this. We are sidelines. She is not in our immediate upline, downline, round line, side, whatever. Like we are sidelines. And that is what makes this company so different is that we're one plexus. Like she agreed, she didn't even hesitate to say yes, that she would come and speak to us. So she has been with the company for quite a long time. She'll tell you that part of her story, but she is Canada's newest Sapphire, which for those of you who are fairly new with us, she is second from the top in Canada. She is one of only 4 Sapphires in the country, you guys. So this is a big deal, very exciting. Hope you have your pens and your paper, and I'm going to hand it right on over to LeeAnn. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you so much, Janelle. Thank you for allowing me to come. And it's an honor just to be even trusted with teams, right? And so I think that's so great that that is part of One Plexus culture. And when something kind of ignites within you or something sparks with a sideline, that they jump right in and they're there to help and there to come on and do team calls or whatever it might be, give some tips and tricks and things that might help in moving you forward in the next few days. So I'm super excited to be here. And I'm going to just start by sharing a little bit about myself and sharing about my journey and the story of what brings me here today. And hopefully it doesn't bore anybody and you'll get something out of it. And then we'll get into some nuggets. Hopefully you can pull and we'll do Q&A and all of that. So I have been with Plexus for 8 years and have the honor and privilege of being connected with Natalie Fuller, who is my diamond upline. Natalie and I have been friends and we met in a previous company about 11 years ago. We met in a backyard barbecue. Both of us had earned this with another company. We were sidelines in that business. And I remember sitting with her and her husband, and my husband and I were sitting in the backyard, and we were sitting at kind of like a patio set, and we're talking with her and Rick and got to know them. And that was about 11 years ago. 8 years ago, when I was fed up with network marketing and was fed up with the whole, just all the dream, casting and everybody telling you, you just got to keep working and you just got to keep doing it and it's going to happen. And I had never seen it happening. We had some success in some other companies. My husband and I have always been entrepreneurial. I think that he was a little more entrepreneurial than I was when we first got married, and I worked in the financial background before we had kids and was being groomed to be an FA, and left that after I had our first child. So I have 4 kids, 1 boy, 3 girls, and had 4 kids in 5.5 years. And so had them all close together and knew that I didn't want to be working 9 to 5, knew that I didn't want to be working for somebody else, knew that I wanted to raise my kids, be the one that put them on the bus and picked them up off the bus and was home for dinner and all of those things. So but very quickly knew that once you get used to an income that it's pretty hard to give it up. So I had started a home daycare when my son was a year old and did that for about 2 years and then realized that I was probably going to kill somebody. So it was probably not my calling and was not the right place for me to be. So meaning probably my husband or one of my own kids I was going to kill, not my daycare kids. But I was like, at the end of the day, I was just spent. I was worn out. I was like, this is not working. And how many remember about probably 10 years ago ish, where eBay came on the scene? And I had like 2 young kids at home. eBay, I did all my Christmas shopping this one year on eBay. I remember because I had 2 under 2, and I was like, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Did all my Christmas shopping. I didn't have to leave my house. So like the internet marketing was kind of coming on the play. There was, online shopping. And that's when my husband and when I finally said that I was done with daycare and I was fed up with that, I said, there's got to be something that I can do from home. There's got to be something that I can make money from at home because, again, you get used to that income coming in and it's just really hard to give it up. And so we started researching and we started looking, and it's so funny when you look back at different seasons of your life. And I'm a believer. I believe that God directs us, that gives us, wisdom and insight when we ask. And so I look back at that time about 10, 12 years ago, and I think, oh my goodness, we had to have been hearing from God, because I think of it now and I think of our journey and I'm like, it just all lines up. And so we started researching and we were looking at online marketing. We knew that that was definitely on the rise. So we knew that we wanted to kind of be in the online space. And we knew that health and wellness was going to be huge. We knew that it was coming on the scene fiercely and that it was going to be, multi-billion-dollar industry. And we just wanted a small piece of that pie. So we kind of put these things together of health and wellness and online, and we started searching. And that's where I believe when you're open to hearing from the Holy Spirit, that He'll give you little insights of where the future obviously is going and where you want to be. And so we had tried a couple. We were with 2 different companies before we had met Plexus. And so it wasn't like we had hopped from one company to another. We had spent 3 years at each of those companies before we came to Plexus. And that's where I met Natalie. And so we had seen some success. We had won a few trips. I had won. I was one of the first North American challenge winners in an E84 challenge in a past company. So like I'd won a $10,000 grand prize and a trip to Cabo, was in magazines, and the whole stay-at-home mom losing 50 pounds was a really great story, and all of that just kind of fit together. So they made me be a little poster child and create that first story. And so we had saw some success in that arena, but had never saw true residual because we didn't have a great compensation plan. We were always working a binary compensation plan. And so for those of you who are new or those of you that don't understand compensation plan, just know this and trust me, we have it. There is no other company out there that you are going to get the full package with. We've got the products, we've got the leadership, and we've got the compensation plan. And that is really hard to find. And you can look and search for years, and it will be like a diamond in the rough that you find all of the components that we have here at Plexus. So know this, you just don't have to look anywhere else. Like, let me save you the trouble. You don't ever need to be looking somewhere else because you are not going to find something better than what we have here at Plexus. And so we just had never saw that perfect storm, so to speak. We had never saw, the products, the compensation, with the leadership, with everything that kind of aligned with us. And so we had been told, yeah, like you just have to in a binary, you're working like two separate legs, and one leg kind of runs away from the other, and you're fed this dream of you just got to catch that leg and then you're going to be a millionaire. And you're like, okay, I'm working my butt off, but I'm never seeing, like, I'm getting a $20 paycheck at the end of the month. And it's like, what? And so we've never saw true residual income. And so we were looking in 2012, and I was kind of like, yeah, sick of the whole like business side of it. I was sick of that. I wasn't really looking for that. What I was looking for was some really good all natural products that I could raise my family on. And that's when I phoned Natalie. I phoned Natalie because I trusted her. I knew she had a nursing background, and I knew she wasn't going to blow smoke. She was going to be really honest with me, and she would just tell it to me straight. And so I said to her, listen, like, I'm not interested in any business, but I know you're doing something different. You're not outwardly posting it, but what are you doing and what are you up to? She said, you know what, LeeAnn? She said, you're right. She said, for the last 3 years, I've kind of researched different companies. I've been looking for something that I can, land on, that can be my one final company that I can build a legacy with and leave it for my children and my grandchildren. And she said, 2 weeks ago, I think I found this. And this was September, 8 years ago. She said, I know the owners from a past company. I've known them for years. She said, I've basically interviewed them. I've been on the phone. I've done my research. Plexus has a really great vision, and I believe that they are going to be an industry leader in where health and wellness is going. So she said, I just partnered with them 2 weeks ago. So I said, okay, get me some products. Let me try. Let me see, what's going on here. And so um, I knew right away, though, that I didn't have much weight to lose because I had already lost it. I was 10 years younger. I'm still healthy. I was active, all of those things. So I kind of knew that, what, my story might not be like, I might not have these aha moments. I might not have this, miracle experience or different things that we hear so readily here with Plexus. So I did go and get a few friends and family to try the products with me. I got about 8 or 10 people in the first 30 days. And I said, just try these. There's a 60-day money back guarantee. Let's just try them together and let's see what happens. Because I just wanted to evaluate what these products could do for different people. So I did that. I didn't sign up one ambassador. These were all customers. And the next month, I got a paycheck in the mail. And this one, we still got paper paycheck. So it was the actual paycheck came in the mail. And it was like close to $1,000 US. And I phoned Natalie and I was like, there's been a mistake. I was like, you can call the company. I'll shred it. I'll send it back. Like, clearly there was some sort of mix up because I did not do anything. I didn't sign up one business builder. There was no fast start money, nothing like that. I was like, these were all just customers. She goes into the back office and she's like, no, LeeAnn. She goes, that's your commission. And I was like, say what? I was like, what kind of company pays out that kind of commission for customers alone? She goes, yeah. She goes, Plexus does. She goes, LeeAnn, she goes, this really is different. And I was like, I don't know if I'm buying it yet. I was like, I don't know if I want to hear about it yet. But I was like, okay, tell me a little bit. I'll bite. I'll bite and tell me a little bit about the compensation plan. Tell me a little bit about the business. And so that's what intrigued me out of the gates and out of the get-go was that somebody could really bring in a residual income solely on customers, because there are so many individuals that are not rock stars. Let's just face it, right? Like, I mean, how many individuals do you go through looking for that one diamond, right? Looking for that one individual that's going to blow your business up. Well, it can take a lot of effort to do that. But how many people can you come across that are stay-at-home moms, that are working individuals, that are open to an extra $500 or $1,000 a month? There's a lot of us out there that are open to doing that, willing to do that, and can totally do that by just sharing with a few friends and family. So that's what I loved about the compensation model is that you didn't have to have a rock star or 10 rock stars. You just had to have a few individuals that were totally open to making $500 to $1,000 a month. And there's a lot of those individuals out there. And so I was like, okay, I think there is something here. And so I started building at that point. I started, slowly referring and started looking for other people because that kind of got me excited. And so in 2016, so we're not opened yet. There's lots going on in Canada. There's lots of pioneering that, happens along the way, and lots of bumps and bruises and scrapes and black eyes and all of those things that happened along the way. Um, but in 2016, I just kept, again, I've got 4 little kids at home. I'm fitting it into the nooks and crannies of my day. I'm steadily moving along, being consistent. And in 2016, we had our first Super Saturday in Canada, and I was hosting it. And Sonia Dudley and Michelle Eichenhorst came to Toronto, and the company I had 20 people from Kingston. So it's about a 2.5, 3 hour drive to Toronto, and had a bus of 22 people, I think it was, that I took to Toronto, hosted the event. And it was a big to do because it was one of the first ones in Canada, and we're not even open yet. So I don't even know how they pulled that off, but we're not even open, but we do this Super Saturday event in Toronto. And I remember coming off of the platform, and I was a gold ambassador at that time. So that was January 2016. A gold ambassador. I remember coming off, and my husband's kind of pulling my bag behind me, and we're going up to our hotel room. And I said, this is what I was created to do. I was like, this is what it's all about. And I remember that like it was yesterday. And so it was catching a bigger vision at that point. It was seeing things on a bigger scale. We had, I think, 150 people in the room in Toronto. Um, Lots of people from the Lehman area, and we were drawing people. And so it was 150, 200 people there. And so we had a great event. It was seeing things on a bigger scale. It was being able to pour into people like that as well on a leadership level. And so I was gold in January and this is when before we did not have the 5 Plexus pay points on our smaller welcome packs. Okay. So just keep that in mind. When I talk about, I went from gold, then I was senior gold in February, and I ranked ruby in March 2016. So back-to-back rank advancements really quite quickly. I had somebody who truly went fast gold in that 30-day time period, meaning that she signed on 20 people with a large welcome pack, because that is how you had to go fast start gold back in the day. And so I had somebody in between February and March go fast start gold, and I went to ruby. So then the wheels came off the bus as quickly as they went on the bus, because we just did not have the tools and the things in place that we have nowadays. And so, wherever your journey has brought you to, there's always that journey. And just remember that whatever you go through is always a test for your testimony that you can share with somebody else, that you're going to be able to inspire or help bring them through that season of similarity of what they're going through. And so there's always some pain that happens in order to be able to tell your story. So there's different painful situations that may happen, but when you push through and you buckle down, that test is only going to become a testimony, and it's going to be an inspiration to somebody else. In life, in business, in whatever it is that you're dealing with, if you can keep that perspective and that right mindset of knowing that you're going to be able to get through anything, and there's somebody else that you're going to be able to inspire once you get to the other side, and you're going to be able to help lead out of that same situation. So again, looking back, I was ruby in 2016 of March. Slowly things just kind of started to deteriorate, not knowing how to put a system in place, not knowing how to onboard people, not knowing, all of those things, learning as I was going, and trying to figure that all out. And so always stayed active in the business, always had residual income for 8 solid years. My family and we have always had our products paid for. I've always had a paycheck come in from Plexus from day one, which is truly just a blessing because we've never seen that in any other company. So in 2017, my husband's company was taking a turn for the worst. He runs his own company here. We own rental properties as well. We've always been firm believers in multiple streams of income and setting things up for that. And nowadays, I absolutely preach that to every single person, that if you do not have a secondary source of income, you are crazy, because so many people with COVID went to work one day and did not have a job the next day, and things were just shut down. So that plan B can quickly become that plan A. And I think that's why we're seeing so much success and so many great things happen here with Plexus. And so that happened to us. Actually, I was 7.5 months pregnant with our fourth child, and my husband worked for a company, walked in one day and had a job, walked out the next day and did not have a job. After 8 years, he lost his job overnight. I was 7.5 months pregnant. We never wanted to feel that ever, that we were at the mercy of somebody else controlling, our income, our viable source of income, our livelihood, all of that. So 2017, he's been in partnership with his brother for 10 years in a local traditional business and cleaning company here. And they had an office manager that was stealing money, and just, it was awful, awful, awful. So I went into the office and basically had to clean house and resituate a bunch of things in there. And that was about an 18-month process. So Plexus kind of went on the back burner for me at that point. Like I said, I always still had team members. I still had people ordering, still had residual income, but we weren't open yet either. And so in 2018, once we had opened, Natalie phoned me 2 weeks before convention. So it was the end of May. She phoned me in end of May. At that point, my business had gone down to 35 points. And so I was a Ruby 2 years prior. Business had basically gone flat. There was nothing left of where I was when I was a Ruby. May of 2018, Natalie phoned me and she said, "You need to be at convention." She said, "You absolutely need to be there. I've always seen you as a leader in Canada." She said, "But you've got to come and you've got to see what's being put in place. We've got the right people in place. Things are now open. The warehouses, products are shipping, all of those great things." So I was like, yeah. I was like, whatever. I was like, I don't know. I was like, let me pray about it. Let me talk to Josh over the weekend. And so that was on a Thursday. On Sunday, I went to church and my pastor preached a message. And how many have been there before where you're like, did he read my mail? Sorry, like, is he talking just to me? Like, what in the world? How did he know this? And so he preached this message again, one of those life-changing things. I'll never forget it, where he said, you've been in a place of frustration. You're supposed to be somewhere else, but you're not. And you've been in this season of frustration and you've been in a place of frustration. Well, God is about to pick you up and he is about to seat you in the place of where you're destined to be and where you're supposed to be. So he's going to pick you up from your place of frustration and he's about to sit you down where you're supposed to be. And you know what? I am just going to, I don't know if you're churchgoers or not, but I'm going to say it this way. I'm prophetically going to release that over you. If that is for you, you take that tonight. You take that word, because I just believe that God is saying that to somebody, and it can be for anybody or everybody. But if you're willing to take it and grab a hold of it, if you've been in a place of frustration, whether it's been in your business, whether it's been in your life, whether it's been in your marriage, wherever it's been, God's about to take you out of that place of frustration and he's about to sit you in a place of honor. He's about to sit you in a place where you are destined to be. And there are doors that are about to open that you could not open, that man could not open, but God is going to open those doors for you. And you are going to walk through those doors and you're going to be sitting in a place of royalty. So somebody better take that message tonight. Somebody better grab a hold of that. So he had said that to me on a Sunday morning, and Natalie phoned me on Sunday afternoon, or no, she emailed me on Sunday afternoon, and she sent me the seating plan for our convention of 12,000 people in Florida in June, and said, and circled the very front row center seat. And she said, this is your seat for convention. She said, because I'm with the advisory board and I'm sitting in the front row center, and this is your seat. And I was like, what? And so I was like, okay, I think that might be confirmation that I'm supposed to go. And so at that point, I immediately said, you know what? I was like, I can't go sit there. I was like, it would be like I'm a fake. I'm not a Ruby ambassador. I'm not like, my business has 35 points. I can't go and pretend that I'm somebody that I'm not. And I don't deserve that. Like, I immediately came out of me, I don't deserve that. And God arrested me and he said, you're right, you don't deserve that, but I don't give people what they deserve. He goes, because I'm just good. And so I'm not going to give you what you deserve, but you're going to go ahead and you're going to take that because I'm just a good God. And I was like, okay, I'm going. And so I went. And so John Maxwell was a keynote speaker. I sat in that front row. And it just sparked belief in me again. I thought, okay, this is where I am supposed to be seated. This is where I'm supposed to be. And so that was in June of 2018. Took the next couple months to kind of regroup. I was weaning myself out of my husband's office position so that I could kind of go back to Plexus full time, to where I absolutely knew I was supposed to be, where I wanted to be, where I loved to be. And November 18th, 2018, I pulled it out not long ago in my book, and it was my declarations to diamonds of November 18th, 2018. And that's kind of when I, recommitted to say, okay, now's the time to jump in with both feet. Because here's what probably most of you would not know. Janelle might know this because she was kind of in there as a wholesale customer. But when I joined 8 years ago, the company was doing just $2 million a month in sales in the two poorest states of the United States, Louisiana and Mississippi. Okay. They had 14 six-figure income earners in the entire company. And they all were in the area of Biloxi, Mississippi. Okay. 14 six-figure income earners, $2 million a month. And that was 8 years ago. Fast forward to today, we do over $70 million a month in sales, and there's over 1,000 six-figure income earners in the company. But here's what I thought was so super interesting is that about 2 years ago, Canada was kind of paralleling where the United States was. We were doing about $2 million a month in sales, and we had 14 six-figure income earners 2 years ago. So I had been here sitting on the sidelines for all of the growth that was happening in the United States. I had seen the complete trajectory growth that was happening from 2013 to 2016, where Plexus just started skyrocketing in the United States. So I always had in the back of my mind, this is going to happen in Canada. I was like, I know this is going to happen in Canada. So 2 years ago, I had that nudging and I was like, if I don't jump now, I was like, oh, I am going to regret it. Because I knew that and right now, what we are living in and what we are seeing, we are sitting in the sweet spot for Canada. And so I knew that a couple of years ago, that there was this sweet spot of a 3 to 5 year growth period that was going to happen in Canada, that we were going to see and make six-figure income earners almost overnight. And that is what we're living in right now. And so I jumped back in November of 2018, started rebuilding. And so a year ago, I was one of the first Canadian Business Builder Silver Star earners in August. So I was one of the 6 first ones that went. So we went in August, earned the shopping spree, and everything at Bloomingdale's last year with Leaders Retreat, experienced that, had Genevieve came and did a couple in-house trainings for us in Hamilton because of the growth that we were seeing. So it took me a year and I was back up to senior gold a year ago. So even at Leaders Retreat, at Silver Star, I was a senior gold is what my business was just a year ago. And sat at senior gold until May of this year. May of this year, I hadn't even re-ranked Ruby yet. I ended May at 468 points. But the end of May, I just said to myself, I was like, I had never enrolled. I went back to Eric Worre was one of the very first trainers that Plexus had in years ago. And so if you've ever listened to Eric Worre, he says, if you will go on a 90-day recruiting blitz, and if you recruit 20 people in a 30-day time period, those 20 people will change your life for the next probably 5 to 8 years of your business. So I had never personally enrolled 20 people in a month. I'd come close. I think the closest I'd come was maybe like 15 or 16, but I'd never done 20 people. So in May, I had said to Natalie, I think maybe I should do that. I think maybe it's time that I, enroll 20 people. And so in May, I enrolled 18. And so at the end of May, I said, well, it was a really great month. It was the best month I've ever had. I could have stopped there, but I was like, I didn't do it. And that's just maybe my Enneagram 8 personality, my red personality, whatever you want to call it. But I was like, oh, I just didn't do it. And so June, I had said, I'm not just going to re-rank Ruby. I said, I'm going to go senior Ruby. I said, because I am going to set myself up. I had in my head, I was like, I'm doing Emerald now. And I was like, Emerald by the end of July, that is what's happening. That is the goal. I did not have all of the pieces of the puzzle together, and you don't have to either. You just have to have the faith to believe that it's going to happen. And so in June, I personally enrolled 26 people. And the way I goal mapped it out and the way I did it is, as I said, I'm not just squeaking by senior Ruby, I'm setting myself up for Emerald. So I'm always thinking 30, 60, 90 days out, and I'm always goal mapping ahead of time. So my goal is that I personally want to enroll 20 people. I had never done 100 enrollments on my team. In May, we only had, I think it was 33 enrollments and I did 18, okay? So in May, we only had something like 33, 34 enrollments team-wide. I did 18 of them. And I said, let's do 100 enrollments in the month of June. I'm going to personally enroll 20 people and I'm going to end at 900 points. That's what I'm doing. And so I had it wrote out on my vision board. I had it on my whiteboard. I knew who was working, who I was working with, all of that. The end of June came and we had enrolled 101 team members. I ended at 898 points and I personally enrolled 26 people. That set me up then in July, where I not only was like, you know what? I went and mapped out my entire July month. And at the beginning of July, I had wrote down 1,550 points and mapped everything out in the month of July. And I got to the end and I was like, why would I cut myself short and just squeak into Emerald? I was like, that is not what I want to do. I was like, so I scratched it out and I put 1,950 points down. So in July, we again did not know how it was all going to happen, did not know the people that were going to come into my business, but I just knew they were going to come. And so you might have the best mapped out plan, you might have it all down on paper, but you've got to give room for those people that are the missing pieces of the puzzle to make their way in to complete the picture for you. And so that's where you can try to figure it all out, but we don't always know. And you've just got to be open and have enough room to let them in. And so July 14th is when you've probably all heard her name and heard her story, but Lori, who broke the company's record of going Emerald in 59 days, she enrolled June 27th. She would not even accept my friend request. July 14th. So she went into a Sideline Sisters challenge group, the only person outside of this individual's team. She was running a 60-day challenge, and she let Lori in because I asked and said, hey, there's this girl. She won't even accept my friend request, but she wants to be in the challenge. Can you put her in? And she was on my level 2. And so she let her in, no questions asked. She was like, yes, absolutely. She can come in. They welcomed her. The only reason she made a post on July 14th was because Melissa had challenged them in their 60-day group to say, post a pink drink picture and you'll have a chance to win $20 off your next order. That's all Lori wanted, was $20 off her next order. So she made a post on Facebook. Her Facebook started blowing up. She finally accepted my friend request because Melissa contacted me and said, hey, listen, she's contacting me and she's not even part of my team. She's like, I'll help her, but like, do you want in on this? I said, oh my goodness, tell the woman to accept my friend request. So she became friends with me on Facebook. And from July 14th to July 31st, we put 115 people in her business and pushed her to Ruby. So I just made room that was going to happen. This woman had no idea what was happening. She just linked arms with me and I said, listen, if you just trust me, I said, she didn't even have no idea what Ruby was. But on the 25th of July, I said, listen, you're 63 orders away from Ruby. I said, do you think we can do this? She said, I have no idea what that means, but I'll sure try. And I said, okay, let's do it. I said, we're just going to do it. I said, I'm not going to give you any excuse that you can't do this. I said, you're going to be the first one in Canada, first one in the company history to do this. I said, and we're just going to do it. All you have to do is do what I say. Do what I say and we'll get it done. And that's exactly what happened is that we just went for it. And so we made it happen. She went Ruby basically in 14 days. She went Ruby in actuality 30 days from her day of enrollment. But her first post was on July 14th. Went Ruby the end of July, and that pushed me to. I held back 6 orders on July 31st because I was so stinking exhausted that it didn't matter if I put them in. I was at 1,948 points. The only reason I needed to put one more order in was so that I could actually hit my 1950. But I knew I hit it in my mind because I had 6 orders sitting here and I was just like, do I need to put them in? I'm on the phone with Natalie at 11:30. I'm like, do I need to put these in? I was like, can we just hold them till August 1st? Whatever promotion is going to happen, she's going to obviously benefit. She's already hit her goal. She's like 35 points past Ruby. Like, we don't need them. I was like, can I just hold them? And so at that point, then the same thing, I was setting myself up for Sapphire and on the run for Sapphire for August and hit that goal. We really simplified the system. We really simplified when you have that massive momentum and that massive growth. Here's the one thing is that I can hear some voices in people's heads right now going, yeah, well, that's good for you, but that won't happen to me. Well, it won't if that's the mindset that you're going to have. But if you are open to having that and being available to be used, to have that happen to you, then you just never know where that diamond will come. I always say to my team, I was like, if you were guaranteed that there was 6 diamonds in your backyard, would you go dig for them? You better bet you would. You'd be out there every day digging. Well, what if on day 1 you don't find a diamond? What if on day 10 you don't find a diamond? What if it takes you 2 years to find the first diamond? You're going to find a whole lot of silver coins, a whole lot of gold coins, a whole lot of ruby coins along the way of finding your diamond, but there is guaranteed to be 6 diamonds in your backyard. You're going to go every day and you're going to put some sort of sweat equity into finding those diamonds. Is it going to leave some blisters sometimes? Absolutely. Are you going to sweat? Are you going to get dirty? Is your makeup going to run? Absolutely. Is it going to be sore muscles? Is it going to be some exhausted days? Yeah. But you know what? It's so worth it. There is nothing out there that you're going to pour yourself into that is more rewarding than what we do. You are changing lives, not just in their health, but in their finances and in legacies of children's children. You are changing lives. And so what you pour yourself into and what you believe can happen and what you make yourself available for, it will come. it might take longer than some, because I use the example of Lori and myself. I've been here for 8 years. And it took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get to where I am. But would I change anything? Absolutely not, because I'm the one sitting here in this chair to tell the story of perseverance, to tell the story of it didn't happen overnight. It doesn't usually happen overnight. But if it took you 10 years to create a six-figure income and all the perks and bonuses that we have, is it worth it? Absolutely. You're going to work 10 years at a job and wait every 12 months to get a 50-cent pay raise or to get a dollar pay raise? I don't think so. I can give myself a pay raise every month if I decide to and if I work for it. So for some, it might happen sooner, but that's their journey and we can celebrate them. And that's one of the biggest things is that if you put your blinders on and if you can look over the fence to celebrate other people, but not to compare and not to, get sidetracked with what their grass is, how their grass is growing, or what color their grass is, or what speed it's going at. But if you can stay focused on your journey, be able to celebrate the other ones that are running in the sidelines beside you, because some people are going to be faster, but some people are going to be slower, and you're going to be able to pull on each one of those to help in your journey. And so I just encourage you to stay the course, because it is so worth it. You're not going to find something that is more rewarding out there than what we're doing here. And so I've talked for quite some time now. I'm like looking at the clock, so I'm like, I want to open it up. I don't want to keep going and leave no time. But Janelle, jump in? What questions, comments? Something you want me to cover?
Oh, I think we all got chills. We're all just like, we're on the LeeAnn train. We're like totally getting your belief just absolutely washed over us. And I think that is it's so necessary for us to hear each other's stories of overcoming adversity, of persevering. But what I heard from your story was just from the moment you started, you had belief in the company. And maybe you didn't have it when you started yourself, but you borrowed it from Natalie. And I think that I love that piece that we can do that amongst each other, right? Like, yeah. Okay, I trust you. Your belief can carry me until I build my own. But I love when you said, if I don't jump now, I will regret it. And I think that can be all of our stories, right? Like, you're here tonight because you've got a glimmer of hope. You have belief. And I think we can all kind of latch onto that. So Sherry is asking, of course, I'd love to hear about your systems to onboard new people, right? Because we all hear systems, and that's great, but what's actually working, right?
Yeah. I did Motivation Monday a couple weeks ago, and I also did the Australia call. So I would say I'm going to take just a couple minutes and I'll go over that, but go and watch those. The Motivation Monday was September 21st that I did. And so it's all there and recorded. And that's specifically what I talked about was onboarding. And I did the Australia call on that Friday, which would have been like the 26th of September. And it was very similar. I shared my story and shared onboarding. And so what I personally do with onboarding somebody, and this has been the hot topic because people want to know what we're doing and everything, and how we onboarded so many individuals that quickly. We added 700 people to one team in 60 days. And so you've got to have something that's working. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not tweaking things and we're always looking at things. We definitely are looking at retention now because we're 60, 90 days into that. So we're looking at, okay, what's working, what's not, and we're tweaking things. We're looking at new systems and all of that. So not everything's perfect, okay? So do not hear that from me. You're not going to hear that from me. You're always wanting to learn, to grow, to pull from other people, and to tweak things where it's needed, and to be aware of that and be on top of that. So onboarding system, though, super simple and easy, is what I do is if a brand new ambassador comes on board, so I've just signed Janelle up, and one of two things. Janelle is either going to let me know she's interested in the business and she's ready to basically run kind of that, the system and the tools that the company provide. Are you walking, running, or sprinting? Okay, we do have those maps there, and the company has given us all of the tools. And so I go back to the company tools. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. It's been invented for me, so I'm going to use it. And so if Janelle tells me she is ready to run or sprint, then I'm personally going to take her right under my wing, whether she's on a level 1 or 2. I'm really good at tap reading too, as well. Lori, who's on my level 2, who went Emerald in 59 days, her personal sponsor was not involved until 60 days ago. So I have 3 of her people that I have nurtured for over a year, and that I have helped to build their business over a year. So I will look for those diamonds in the rough, not necessarily just in people that I personally have sponsored, but you want to be looking down your organization and making sure that you are connecting with those individuals as well. So I personally bring somebody on. Janelle tells me she's ready to run or sprint. I'm going to take her right under my wing, and I'm going to say, okay, so this happened last month. I've had now 3 individuals, 3 personals that I have done. I've had them all go Fast Start Gold. I'm into Fast Start Golds in 30 days. So I've had 3 personals do that in the last 90 days. And so Sarah, who was brand new to me last month, September 9th, joined the company. She was a business builder. She was ready to run. I said, okay. I said, I'm going to unlock 3 levels for you. I said, the very first level of our compensation plan is bringing on 3 people. And that is silver. If you go Fast Start Silver, here's the money that it is. It's basically $400 Canadian that you're going to get for having 3 individuals join you. The next level is 10 people. I'm only going to talk about you personally enrolling 10 people, because that's the fastest way that we're going to guarantee this is going to happen. So if you were to personally enroll 10 people this month, here's what that means for you. The next level is 20 people. Do you personally think that you can bring on 20 people this month? Because if so, you are going to be really close to $3,000 Canadian. That's what 20 people is, by you personally going Fast Start Gold, all of the Fast Start bonuses, and that's going to earn you a trip to Arizona. So I laid it out for her, and she goes, yep, I can do it. It's done. So at that point, when I heard her say that, I was like, okay, we're not going back. There's no excuses. I'm going to lock arms with you. I'm going to give you a plan, and I'm going to tell you this is what's happening. And we're going to work till midnight on the last day of the month to make sure it does. And so, so I will unlock those 3 first levels for a business builder, and I will break it down, because if somebody can say, I'm going to enroll 20 people and I'll make just over $3,000 in my first month. Hello, that's a story that they're going to hang on to forever. They're going to be able to tell that story for years to come. Natalie still tells her story about how she went Fast Start Senior Gold in 30 days, and she's 8 years in. That's a story that will never be taken away from her. So if somebody's ready to run and you can get them going quickly, you want to go Fast Start Gold in the first 30 days. And that's basically how I break it down. And then I get their commitment and I will work with them. So we get a first post out right away. So I have a couple first posts. I can send them to Janelle so that she can then distribute them. I have 2 first posts that I do that people will put out. And as soon as they get questions or comments, when they're brand new like that, I'm like, put me in a 3-way. All you have to do and all you have to know is how to make a post and how to put me in a 3-way conversation with anybody that has that questions, comments, sends you a message. So that's what we do there. I also have them reach out to the first 25 people in 24 hours. If you've got a runner and a builder, then I want you reaching out to 25 people in your first 24 hours. And I want you to say something like, hey, Janelle, I don't know, this may or may not be for you, but man, I am so super excited by something that I have just been introduced to. Would you be open to taking 5 minutes to have a look at a couple quick videos if I sent them your way? Because I can't imagine doing this without you. Simple, easy. And what do you think? These 25 people are going to be some of the most supportive people that are around this individual. So family, friends, coworkers, people that know, like, and trust them. So She's going to reach out to 25 people in the first 24 hours. She's going to get a first post out, and she's going to start putting me in three-way conversations. Those three-way conversations then that I navigate, you as a brand new person, just zip your lips and you sit back and you learn as you earn. So as the support line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, so Janelle comments and she gets put into a three-way. And I say, hey, Janelle, thank you so much for showing interest on our friend Sarah's post. I would absolutely love to help answer any questions or comments that you might have. But before I go dishing out a bunch of details, why don't you talk to me? Tell me a little bit about what's going on. What interested you in responding to the post? Do you have some personal goals, concerns, interests that you're looking to target? Because I really want to gear our conversation towards you specifically. What am I doing? I'm making an emotional connection. I want to make an emotional connection with her. I want to be her friend. I want her to feel that I value her, that I'm interested in her, that we're here to help her. So I need to find out what her need is. I need to find out why she is interested in trying these products. If I'm thinking, oh, she's here for weight loss, and she's like, no, man, I got IBS that I suffer with migraines. I could care less about dropping 10 pounds, so you want to find out what their need is. So I make that emotional connection. Janelle's going to come back and she's going to say, yeah, well, this is what's going on. I've got A, B, and C, and I'd really like to help deal with some of these things. And so I'm going to go, man, Janelle, oh my goodness, I cannot imagine what you're going through. I'm sympathizing with her. I'm showing compassion. I cannot imagine the stress that has on your everyday life or what that's doing to your health and your family. You know what? I know somebody else who felt the same way. If I don't have that similar experience, I'm going to use the feel, felt, found method. So I know somebody else that has dealt with that so many times, but you know what I found is that I was able to help them. I have these three simple little products that were so easy to implement. And we found that when they started taking these consistently for the first few months, man, they started sleeping better. They had increased energy. Their mental clarity was better. Their digestion was better. They dropped weight. I could go on and on. But maybe the best thing for me to do would be to send you two really quick videos that you could take 5 minutes and have a look at. It'll probably answer some of your questions and explain some things. And then I would love to hear your thoughts. I'm going to send her the microbiome video and the triplex video. I'm going to send those two videos and it takes 5 minutes to watch those. She's going to watch them. She's going to come back. I'm going to say, hey, Janelle, so what were your thoughts? What could you relate to in those videos? Well, oh my goodness, I had no idea that mood was connected to gut health. I've been moody lately. I've been PMSing. I've been whatever, cray on my kids. I had no idea that that was connected to gut health. I know, right? Where have you heard that before? Genevieve says that all the time, right? I know, right? I did not know that either. I had no idea, but when I started these products, man, oh man, did my mood ever change for the better. My husband was so glad that I started with the Vital Biome, and so I am going to create that conversation with her, a bit of back and forth. And then I'm going to say, you know what, would maybe the next step be for me just to explain how people get started? Yes, please do. And so so then how I explain it is I say this, I say, you know what? I said, it's much like Costco. Costco charges a one-time annual membership fee. And that membership fee gives you access for an entire year for wholesale pricing on everything in their warehouse. It's the same idea here. We have a one-time annual membership fee that's just over $53. Right now, it's on sale for $9.95. So you pay $9.95 once, and it gives you the best pricing on the products. It's like 25% off wholesale. You get a personal website, a virtual office, a referral link, and you get some perks and bonuses for becoming a member. We have this perks reward program that is super great. Every month that you're ordering products, you get perk rewards, and those perk rewards can be redeemed for free product on future purchases. So it's a really great program. You get all of that for $9.95. And then you also get your first welcome pack. It's your first 30-day supply of products, and it's priced below wholesale. It's priced below wholesale for a one-time purchase of $132.69. That gives you your first 30 days. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to set you up for a solid 60 to 90 days so that you are absolutely seeing success on these products. And we have a full 60-day money back guarantee. That's a one-time lifetime guarantee on everything. So there's completely no risk, only reward. Does that all make sense the way I explained it? And how does that sound to you? Well, my goodness, that sounds great. I'm totally ready. And so, in all honesty, in a matter of 10 minutes, I can walk somebody through that process, have their information, and get them in the system. And so, if they're not quite ready and they come back and they're like, yeah, that sounds great, and there's nothing, and they don't answer anything else, right? Yeah, sounds good. I understand. So, I will always then lead with this and I'll say, okay, so now that you have told me, or you've had all your questions answered and you've watched a couple videos, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being that it's probably not the right timing for you to get started. Notice what I did? It's not the right timing. It's not right now. So 1 being not right now, 10 being you're totally ready to get registered and get started. Where do you find yourself on that scale right now? What they're going to do is that if they're anything less than a 10, they're going to tell you where they are on that scale, and it's going to lead to their objection. Okay, I'm a 9. I just did this before our call an hour ago. She came back, she goes, I'm a 9. And I had not even explained the price of the products yet. And she goes, I'm a 9. I said, okay, great. What do you need to move you to a 10? She goes, the price of the products. I'm like, oh, right, you might need that. So then I explained that, right? So if somebody's a 5 or a 6, they might be like, yeah, I'm a 5, but I just don't know if this would help my like stomach issues. I just don't know if this would help my migraines. I just don't know if this would, well, what are you going to do? You're going to go find some testimonies to share with them to move them to a 6 or a 7. And that's always what I say. So if Janelle comes back and she says, well, I'm a 5. Okay, fantastic. What do you need from me to help move you to a 6 or a 7? Just always go up 1 or 2 points on the scale. You're not going for the kill. You're not a hunter. Okay. You're the farmer. You're planting seed. You're walking them through the process. You want to get them to a point of where they're committed for a solid 60 to 90 days. They're not going to cop out after 2 weeks or 30 days because we don't want them if that's what they're here for. We want a solid commitment that they're looking to change their life. And so you've got to get them to that process of where they're fully confident, fully trusting that you're going to be there to help them and they're ready to make that commitment. So that's onboarding. And that's the process of walking somebody through their first post and them getting some interest and things like that. And then it just starts over again. It's the hamster wheel of where it just continually is the same process over and over and over. I got so good when we were like onboarding so many people. I just voice recorded myself and I would just fire off my voice recording. So I had 2.5 minutes of me explaining Costco membership, 60 to 90-day commitment, all of that. And I would just fire them off. I would fire off 3 minutes right in a row. And so then people just saved that and they would fire it off when people asked what, how much it was, what the process was. So they just had me voice record it and they would be able to use it. And so those were some little tips and tricks that, obviously had to get good at in onboarding lots of individuals at one time with that. So does that answer that onboarding?
Awesome. Yeah, I've already found the link and we will make sure that that is watched quickly. Before we I'm just looking here quick. Leona said, was it the posts offering money back to get so many new people in each month? I think she's asking like what incentivized, what do you feel like was the thing that brought those 700 people onto your team?
It was a community. Like, in all honesty, we tapped into a community. So they're from 6 nations. So we obviously had, so we created 1 emerald, 2 senior rubies, and 2 rubies all within 60 days. And so they all had their own teams. They were obviously people with influence. They were in a community group. They're part of Six Nations. So now there's some people that have branched out from that were in New York and BC and down east on different reserves, but they are an Indigenous community group that, it's kind of like, I mean, there's lots of different community groups out there. I've seen it in other companies where a Mennonite group, or there was one group in Pennsylvania that instead of car bonuses, they got horse and buggy bonuses. That's because the company had just completely changed their financial structure, but they didn't drive cars. So the company restructured it and gave them horse and buggy bonuses, So there's different community groups that you tap into that that will cause great growth like that.
And that's just, it's interesting the way that you say that, right? Because you can get somebody who is a hairdresser, right? For example. And so they've got two very distinct communities. They've got their clientele, and if they're really well known, they've got that amazing clientele, but then they've also got the other people in the industry. We also see the same thing with agriculture connected people in this team, teachers, like that kind of thing, right? It's communities, right? And it just depends on who you find that is really interconnected into a very vast community. So that's really fun to watch that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I remember something that Celeste Gwen said years ago. She said, she had never done a network marketing company, but she said, I've been networking for 40 years.
Yes.
So she said, I didn't build this business overnight, like some people would like to think. It's just that she was really well connected. She was in, her school group and sports and church and, missionary work and all of those different kind of connections that she had made and built her life around. She just had those sorority sisters and different things like that, right? So that's where she's like, I've been networking for 40 years, just really not knowing it, right? I've been building this business for 40 years because it is a networking business. It is a community business. It's, that personal development with a paycheck, but you tap into somebody who is, just well-known, well-connected, has great relationships, and you just, they can be that person for you.
Absolutely. Okay, so I have one last question before we let you go. Thank you so much. This is like, it's 10:30 where she is. So she's like, I don't know, she's just gonna go
I'm good.
like 20 more people. Like now she's all lit up and ready to go. But we have some people here who are either just starting out with their businesses or they're on that road to super silver, to gold. And that all of this sapphire stuff just seems like, right? Like mind blowing. They're like, I'm just trying to get the super silver. What would be your best tips to what they should be doing, actionable steps where they can be moving the needle forward in their business, like as far as points go, but also in their belief?
Right. So your daily, let's call them IPAs, because that's what everybody, generally calls them, income producing activities. This is a book from a book I read years ago called The Slight Edge. And if you haven't read that book, get the book. It's like, I think it's all of like maybe 80 pages long. It's not a big book or anything like that, but The Slight Edge. And it talks about dropping a penny in the jar and doubling that every day. So day 1, you drop a penny. Day 2, you drop 2, then 4, then 8, and so on. Okay. So if every day you dropped a penny and doubled it, doesn't look like much, does it? It's pretty insignificant in the first week. The first 2 weeks, you got like a couple bucks in the jar. At the end of 2 weeks, it's pretty insignificant. We don't even have pennies anymore in Canada. Why are you dropping a penny in the jar? What's that going to do? What do you think that's going to amount to? Those pennies aren't going to do anything. That's worthless. It's not worth anything. If you do it consistently for 27 days, at the end of 27 days, you'll have over $1 million in that jar. Go check it out. Like it's math. It's legit. I'm not pulling your leg or anything like that. If you drop a penny in a jar and double it every day for 27 days, you'll have over $1 million at the end of that. Think about your consistent daily activities. that might seem insignificant, that sometimes you want to throw out the window or smash it on the floor, whatever you want to do with it, because it seems so frustrating and you're not getting anywhere with it. But trust me, every day that you drop that penny in the jar and double it every day, you're getting a compound effect on your work that you did yesterday. It's the same thing as exercising. That first day, it stinking hurts when you get back to working out. Like yesterday, I did a workout and I'm like, why am I so sore? I'm like, man. But what happens? Day 2, you go back at it, you're not as sore. Day 3, you're building strength. Day 4, things are getting a little easier. Day 5, you've got some more flexibility. And so that is your consistent effort. And so every day, doing your consistent effort. Whereas, so for brand new people who are silvers, trying to get to senior silver and gold, those being your steps, some really key consistent activities that you want to be doing are very simple, but will be very rewarding when you do them consistently. So reaching out to a minimum of 3 to 5 people a day. What do those reach outs look like? It looks like you're reaching out to somebody saying, hey, I thought of you. You were on my heart. And I don't know, this may or may not be for you. But listen, you have such a dynamic personality. I would love for you to take an opportunity and just take a quick look at what I'm up to. I am looking for individuals like yourself that I would love to link arms with. Would you be willing to watch a couple quick videos if I sent them your way? So it actually means that you're asking somebody to take a look at your business or products. Now, I always lead with business for the most part. And so you're asking somebody to look at what you're doing. Okay. Commenting on somebody's Facebook post is not an IPA. It's not a reach out. Let's say that. It's not a reach out. You want to be reaching out to somebody and filling your funnel. So if you've got a big goal, then you've got to put more people in your funnel so that they start to fall out and it starts to pop like popcorn. And so that's where, when I did a 90-day blitz where it was 18 people, 26 people, and then another 20 people in July, in a matter of 90 some days, I had personally recruited almost 70 people. So that's why my popcorn started popping pretty fast and pretty quickly, because I had multiple things on the go. But what was I doing? I was reaching out to a ton of people. So if you're reaching out to 3 to 5 people a day, that's a great goal. That's a great goal to start with consistency. You don't just start reaching out to 30, 50 people a day. Okay. You're going to work yourself up. It's like a muscle. You've got to work yourself up to being able to lift that kind of weight. Okay. So consistent daily activities are reaching out to 3 to 5 people a day. And you do that consistently at least 5 to 6 days a week. Because what does that do? That now puts, let's say you reach out to 5 people a day, 6 times a week. That's 30 new people in your funnel. That doesn't mean that they've all maybe responded to you. You've probably got some crickets. You've got some people that have said, okay, yeah, I'll take a look at your videos. But now you've got 30 people at all different stages, and you're following up. You're putting some people in 3-ways. You're walking them through the process. You're maybe having to look up some testimonies. You're leading people through the process. So you've got to get those people in your funnel. Now, once you put those 30 people in, don't stop on week 2. You want to continue putting people in your funnel every day, 3 to 5 people a day that you're reaching out to. So if that takes you 20 minutes, then you want to probably spend another 20 minutes on your follow-up, on commenting on people's posts, on building your network, adding some new people on Facebook, wishing people a happy birthday, sending them just a message that is non-plexus related. Hey, Janelle, hope you had a great Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Just was thinking about you and wanted to touch base. Bless you, whatever. Hey, saw that your kid had a birthday on the weekend. It looks like you guys had a ton of fun. Hope you guys are doing well. Send out some messages like that. 5 or 6 messages a day where you're just connecting with people and building that relationship. So you're networking. You're expanding your network by adding people to your Facebook. You're reaching out to people, specifically asking them to look at your business, your products. And then you're doing personal development. I would say before you go to bed every night, at least one a day, you should be watching a diamond documentary. Those will build your faith, build your belief. You will see yourself in some of those people and say, man, if they did it, I can do it too. Watch a diamond documentary. Get some Audible books, 15 to 20 minutes a day where you're reading, you're listening to podcasts, you're building your belief, you're building your faith in the industry, but in yourself, and you're working on your mindset, you're working on personally growing, out, stretching yourself outside of your comfort zone. You're doing something that scares you every day. Do one thing that scares you every day, that takes you outside your comfort zone, because then tomorrow, you know what? I'm going to guarantee it's not so scary tomorrow because you did it yesterday or you did it today.
Absolutely.
So those are some key things to be doing on a daily basis that will move your needle forward and that will help to build your business.
Awesome. Awesome. I think we probably could keep you here all night asking you questions, but we won't do that. Thank you so, so much. We value you and your time. Wow. You guys, like, I think this is going to be your favorite recording ever. So it will come up and it will be there. I'm already getting people messaging me being like, I'm sending this recording to everybody who missed the call. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. Yes. And I know you've got huge goals still in your mind for the next, I don't know, we're no longer the next 90 days, but we're like 60 and a few more, like 70 more days. So thank you again. And yeah, guys.
Yep. Let me say this. I've got to end on this. Sorry, this just came to me. So if this is okay, is this okay? If I take just 2 more minutes?
Absolutely.
You said it. You said 90 days. So this has been on me for now a few weeks, and I can't even believe that I didn't even talk about any of this tonight, but I'm going to take just 2 minutes quickly. What you do in these next 70-ish days, we started a 90-day group because it was on me so bad, where I was like, I got a hold of that concept a couple of years ago. Where the last 90 days of every year, there is like, it's like 3% of people that will actually dig into the final 90 days. 97% of people take their foot off the gas pedal. They go into holiday mode. They go into holiday eating because of Thanksgiving and Black Friday and Christmas and New Year's and everything like that. And everything goes down the tube. They've gained 10 pounds by the time the end of the year comes. From October to December, most people gain 10 pounds. Their mindset's in the toilet because they've gained 10 pounds. They feel crappy. They've let their exercise go. They've let their eating habits go. Their business has not, moved forward. 3% of people will dig in and they will actually put their foot down on the gas pedal and put it to the floor, and they will realize and recognize that what they do in these last 90 days will only set them up and propel them into the next year. Because I guarantee you this, the other 97% that lay back, take a holiday, take the next 3 months off, the next 2.5 months off, they play catch up for the first 90 days of the new year. They're spinning their wheels. They're trying to catch up. They're trying to get back into momentum. They're trying to get back into daily habits. They're trying to get back in their IPAs. They're trying to get their mindset back. They're eating under control, lose the weight that they gained, and they're playing catch up for the first 90 days of 2021. Don't be that person. End 2020 strong. 2020 can be a lot to a lot of people, and so many individuals want to pee it away and say, get me out of 2020. It's been the worst year ever. Just get me to New Year's and let's fast forward and be in 2021. There is things that God still wants to do in you in these next 75 days. Do not take them for granted. Do not take your foot off the gas pedal. Put it down and dig into these next 70 some days. I guarantee you, you will not regret it, because you will only see the harvest in 2021. You will see a quicker harvest from what you do in the next 60 days in the beginning of 2021.
Absolutely. And since our business is 60 to 90 days out, we should be preparing ourselves for our busier season, which is people are wanting to lose that weight. They're wanting to get back on track, January, February. So now is the time. Discipline is not our favorite word, but guys, it pays off. And obviously, from what LeeAnn has shared with us tonight, she is living proof. So again, thank you is just simply not enough. We love you. We are cheering you on. all the way, most of us from like the middle of Canada. Well, no, we're more so Western, but hey, that's okay. But thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Hey guys, if you want to be in our next week's IPA chat group, let's throw your names in the comments here and we will turn off our recording and say good night. God bless. Have a wonderful week. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having